We're about to take it back.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is, the most listened to radio show on the planet.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Tony and Lee on the radio. Dr. Joe's therapy on the radio. The love doctor going live on the radio. Two mics and a mind on the radio. Radio, turned up 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 on the radio. Two mics and a mind. 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 Hey!
Welcome to my Mind. We're here.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Party people.
How are you?
Man, I got a story I got to tell y'all. I got a story I need to tell y'all. But before I tell y'all that story, I want y'all to talk and tell me how y'all doing.
Pretty good.
How I want them. Yeah, I get it. Hear me how we do. I tell them how I want them. I got it like that.
I heard.
Pretty good. Nice
So
weather.
Update on the week, girl. I want to hear about the week. Tell me all about it.
Blur, like you name it.
Yeah.
Sun and fun and sun and fun and burning.
I learned something too.
What?
Wait,
Becoming politically involved is fun.
It's fun.
how did you learn that?
Yeah, like literally everybody who you see pictures of on the posters and their face on the billboards, like these are tangible people that you can literally meet and talk to. I thought that was really cool. You know, meeting a local celebrity.
Yeah, it literally is like local celebrities.
Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, so it's fun. It's fun going and meeting all the local celebrities and things of that nature. I think that's really cool.
Those
And
are
it's beneficial.
oh, okay. So okay, cool for you. Great.
Yeah, learn a lot more. You know, we need to.
It's
I don't know why they
beneficial.
don't teach this in school. They teach this in public school. Local politics need to be taught in public school.
No, you don't teach the people color for a reason.
I guess that's what I'm thinking. Not for us. I was just thinking.
That's honest. Yeah, you know, it's and that's not being funny. You keep people away from things that actually enlighten them into, you know, taking back. I won't say taking back, but being able to have a voice in things that happen to you. A lot of time, people don't realize the experience. You know, a lot of people that, you know, we deal with the way of y'all. A lot of people, they're just voting for the first time. You know, some second time. You know, I started voting, I think when I was 8. I want to say maybe 18, 20, maybe somewhere like that. But it was a young age. And, you know, you realize people say, oh, man, got time for that stuff. Oh, man, they all the same. They all crooks, which is, you know, true in a sense. But what becomes the problem is that you are a critic, but you're not a proponent for change. Criticize with correction. Correction comes in with going to the polls. You might say, well, my candidate, like with Tula, we're pushing for Tula to win this. I think that she can be a person that can, you know, bring in change. There are things that people have to consider when you only vote in one person. To get true change, it has to be a conglomerate. You have to have a majority. That's how you win. Typically, if we decide we want to do something, it's 4 of us, we're going to go with the majority. So in order to have a voice, you have to become the majority. So you have to start to do as the homosexual have with their agenda. They came together as a conglomerate. People don't know how they became so powerful. They actually came and kind of moved to one particular area and start to dominate that area where you change the dynamics of the numbers in that area. You start to elect politicians. Then they move to other areas where you start to change the dynamics of politics to that area. So you start to put enough people in the way you create a voice. So what people have to do when you find things that you don't like, you find enough people that's minded to say, we agree that needs to be changed. Then you have to learn how to kind of saturate that area, saturate that that opponent or that person that you're a proponent for, to try to, advocate for change, and you continue to do the same thing until you get enough people in position till you have a voice. I see we have our guest on. Did I guess? Is it Annabella?
That's one of our guests. We have
That's
two.
one of our guests. It's two of them we went on, or just one?
It's
Okay,
two.
so
Annabella
two.
specifically from the sex trafficking department, and then the other one that's in general the whole.
Yep, both of them are on.
Awesome.
Tony.
All right. Well, I'd like to welcome both of them to the show.
Well, let's put them up. Oh,
Hey,
God.
welcome everybody. How y'all doing?
How y'all doing?
Hello, Annabella. I don't think we can't hear you.
See? Tony.
We still can't hear you. Unless
Can
you're
you
doing the
hear me
hearing impaired. We can't hear you.
We can't hear you. Sir.
Sorry about that. How about now?
There we go.
Perfect. Yeah.
Hello.
Can you
Thank you
hear
so
me
much
okay?
for having us.
We're glad
Nice
to
to have you guys. Nice to have you guys here. Thank you, Laura and Annabella. If you can tell us a little bit about where you come from.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name's Annabelle Thompson. I've been at NCMEC about 2 years now. Grew up in DC. I've been in the anti-trafficking field about 10 years now. I'm going to age myself, but so excited to always talk to people.
I'm Leor Newman. I am our digital fundraising manager at NCMEC. I'm also from the DC area and have also been with NCMEC for about 2 years. And I've been working in fundraising and communications for about 8 years at different nonprofits before coming to NCMEC.
Okay.
Listen, great to have you guys on here. I don't know if Joanna talked to you guys about why we wanted to have you guys on the show. We actually watched a documentary. I recommended it out to a lot of our other listeners and to members. I'm also a pastor. After watching the documentary about the sex trafficking, it was heart-feeling, touching to see how serious the situation is, and people don't realize, because they'll throw a movie or sports, activity on after, so people might have a concern about it, but it's not. The longevity is not there to concern to really help and realize it is a major problem. So having you guys come on here and speak with it, we have people that follow us, and we asked them, we wanted to try to raise money to help out with supporting, fighting sex trafficking, and we wanted a liable, credible organization that we feel like that we could, give funds to help, because we are people that care. A lot of our followers care. And having you guys on here is a pleasure. We appreciate you willing to take out that time and come on and do this. So, as much as you can tell us, like how serious it is, how much it happens, on a daily basis, maybe major states that, whatever we can do and our listeners can do to help, not only just with money, but looking to how to identify when you see it. Who do you report it to versus somebody, well, it's not my problem, I don't know who to call, so I'll keep going, So we appreciate you guys. So as much as you can tell us and our listeners, we're here to listen.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I really appreciate any time a community is willing to invest into this topic, because at NCMEC, we rely on the community to give us information and better serve youth that are missing or experiencing exploitation. So I always say, really, first and foremost, we at NCMEC know that when a child is missing either frequently or for long periods of time, they are much more vulnerable to experience trafficking. So really taking the time to go onto the website and know what youth are missing in your area. You can go on missingkids.org. And just we have a feature now that says see missing kids in your area. I think that's so important, not only for the aspect of trafficking, but just it would be great if we could avoid any sort of exploitation, right? And we want to make sure children are safe. So taking the time out of your day to look at who's missing in the area, and just like when you're filling up your gas tank, you know, when you're picking up your kid from school, when you're grocery shopping, I think it's really important just to know who's around you and really focus on your community. The other thing that I always love talking to people about is knowing who in your community may be involved in child welfare. Those kids are incredibly vulnerable. So like when I talk about child sex trafficking specifically, it doesn't happen in a silo. We look at societal situations, we look at familial situations, and then individual. So is that child in a community that's experiencing poverty? Is that kid's home seeing signs of domestic violence, which affects a child, right? So will they have low self-esteem? It's all these different pieces of a child truly being vulnerable, and how do we build that kid up? I think communities, safe adults have such an incredible power in order to, you know, empower that child to have voice and choice, which increases protective factors and then decreases the chances that child is going to interact with an adult who pretends to be safe but isn't, right? So I think just really investing in your community is one of the best ways to be in the anti-trafficking field, to be proactive. And children are so important. They're our next generation. So we really should look at every single child in our community and really build them up and let them learn within safe boundaries.
Okay. I have a question. In particular, what are we're focusing on sex trafficking? Is there a particular population of kids that are being targeted more currently? And what, if there is, what kind of population is that? And what would you say identifies those children?
Yeah, so at the center, we talk about anybody under the age of 18. By definition of the Trafficking Victims Protection Act, nobody under the age of 18 can consent to a sex act for something of value. So really looking at your youth who may be kicked out of their home for some reason. I really talk about our youth involved in like foster care, child welfare, who may be running from placement. And so when we think about a child that is missing, even if a child has quote unquote run away, they're still a missing child, right? And they deserve the same resources that a child who maybe left a biological placement. So just really thinking about kids who aren't having their basic needs met. So that's something of value piece is food, shelter, transportation. It can be as basic as that. And it can also be our kids who maybe aren't being accepted for who they are, whether it's gender identity, sexual orientation. We see kids who are kicked out of their homes for that reason. You still need a place to sleep. You still need food. So just like really breaking it down to the nitty gritty of we as humans have basic needs. Like I need a meal every day. We need a place to sleep. Just thinking about the basic needs as well as the fact as humans, we all want love and acceptance and we want to make a family. So I think the kids that don't have either the basic needs and or feelings of acceptance and like a safe place to grow up, test boundaries. We've all done it growing up, but just thinking about that mix of does this child not only have a safe place to sleep, but do they have a safe place to just figure out who they are? And if a kid doesn't have one and or the other, we are setting a child up to have an unsafe adult come in and just fill that gap maliciously. So I really think like the basic is any child is vulnerable by base of being a child, but really thinking about our kids who aren't having needs met and room to grow as normal or like normal households provide, right?
Mm-hmm. I have a question, if you don't mind. Do you know any statistics on the exploitation of children via video games these days versus, any other way?
So I don't have specific statistics on that. We do know at NCMEC that online is a new recruitment tool.
Mm-hmm.
It can be like social media, it can be gaming, but the basis of it is truly building a relationship. So one of the things I talk about in the anti-trafficking field is it's not like a one conversation. This is an unsafe adult showing up consistently in that child's life. And consistency is so important for a kid. So we as safe adults have to show up consistently for that kid. We can't say, oh yeah, I'll like take you to a game and not show up, that kind of thing. Whereas, it happens online. We see it on social media. We see it on gaming, but it's somebody who is building an unsafe relationship, but it doesn't appear that way, but they're being consistent, right? So it's like, hey, you want to play X, Y, and Z game? I'll log on at 6. And they're doing that consistently.
Mm-hmm.
So as safe adults, we have to show up consistently so that child doesn't rely on somebody they haven't met who is showing up consistently, right?
That's right.
I can also add to that a little bit. We created the Cyber Tip Line in 1998, and over about a 20-year period, we had seen like 100 million or so reports of CSAM, which is child sexual abuse material. And as technology has really like taken off in the last, I think, 2 years, we've almost doubled the number of reports that we've seen over 20 years. I think last year we saw over 36 million reports of CSAM. And we actually just released a brand new interactive film showing a teenager who experiences, it actually starts with him playing a video game, and someone that he meets online in the video game starts texting him and starts chatting with him, and it ends up asking him to send an illicit photo, and then starts financially extorting him or blackmailing him into saying, oh, I'm going to release this photo that I have of you if you don't send me money or anything. So it's a really powerful film. It's about a 7-minute film, and you can just go to www.noescaperoom.org, and you can watch and participate in that film. It's only about 7 minutes long, but it's very, very powerful and shows exactly what you're talking about, how a video game or a chat room can lead to a child being exploited or potentially trafficked.
Excuse me 1 second. Love Doctor, can you post that site that he put at the bottom so people can see it?
Sure.
Also, if you guys could put, if we could also post at the bottom their organization so people can look you guys up as well. As people look in, whatever, we want them to be able to know how to contact you. And once you finish answering her question, I want to ask you myself.
It's noescaperoom.org for whoever just posted that, not .com.
Okay. He'll take it down.
And I love that new piece too, because it allows parents to see what our young people are going through. Like, I will age myself. I'm 32, and online, I was kind of on AOL right when it was a thing. I had AOL Kids, but online for people now is so different. And I really appreciate the No Escape Room because it allows parents to see like what our young people might be receiving, and it helps us as safe adults to be like, okay, this is very different from what I saw from online, and just gives you a grounding of like, okay, how can I talk about this? Because I think it's important to know what's out there and to learn, and that's what we have to do to support young people. We can't base it on our own internet experience.
Go ahead, Tony.
My question, I'm Tony. My question is, based off of you guys' experience, what events you feel like you find most common with kids, whether online or school association, single parent home, abusive, that you find that a lot of times you find that typically these are number one hot spots for kids going in or being sex trafficked, gangs or whatever you might give us a lead off on, or you feel like it's a lead off to them, you find it being a majority effect.
So I would say for us, the biggest thing is missing child incidents. And when we say missing child, children who run away, I'm just going to reiterate. So we, as of the 2014 Preventing Sex Trafficking and Strengthening Families Act, child welfare was not required to report children who had run away from care missing. Whereas in 2014, that act went into place and states had 2 years to get it within their programming, where it was you had to report it to law enforcement and then you had to report it to NCMEC. And so I would say we had an over 350% increase of reports of missing children. Prior to 2014, we received less than 5,000 children missing from care. And so that's a big piece I will flag is we are working to change the language around kids involved in care who have run away, where we call them children missing from care. Because again, they are missing children, whether it was a familial abduction, non-familial, or they ran away. Safe adults still don't know where that kid's at. So I really like to focus on our children involved in child welfare and foster care, because for us, 1 in 6 children reported missing to NCMEC in 2023, as well as 2022, were likely victims of sex trafficking. So when we talk about children who are missing, and we have a higher number of children who are identified as runaways, it is your children who are missing from placement. So I really like to focus on our children involved in child welfare. And just the fact that, first and foremost, they don't get the same resources historically that children involved with biological family get. Traffickers took advantage of the fact that these children weren't reported missing before the 2014 legislation and knew that there wasn't a requirement to look for them. So I really heavily, for me personally in my job, talk about children involved in child welfare.
Let me ask you a question. If I can ask both of you a couple of questions, you don't mind. Can we, and I hope we can talk about it. Do you find that our kids, when I say, and I think we need to, I like to associate them as our kids. Then people find a personal connection where you'll get involved. When you find it to sometimes the way we word is, kids are separating ourselves, we also separate the care. So when I say our kids, would you guys agree, or I don't know if your organization allow you to say or not, do you find when these kids are sex trafficked that these are typically kids sex trafficked into homosexual relationships rather than heterosexual? Do you find that being more of the play than typically girls being sold to just men, heterosexual, or they're being sold and they're being put more into homosexual type situations? Just trying to get an idea of what what do you guys run across?
So I can say from my background that I have worked with survivors who have experienced traffickers that are both male, female. I think it is, as far as buyers, it's people who are interested in children, and I think it's very separate from sexual orientation. I've known male survivors who've been exploited by a female trafficker.
Okay. That's interesting. I was just curious about that. You know, when we watched when I watched the documentary, I noticed there was a push. I forgot. You probably know the name. What was the name of the documentary we watched that I had about to watch? Do anybody remember? Love Doctor. Also, Lil, when I was saying Love Doctor, now that's the name that he goes by. When I was saying Love Doctor, I don't want you to think I would call you Love Doctor. I believe he's not qualified.
The biggest thing about trafficking is we receive reports of victims and survivors of all genders, and we receive reports of traffickers as all gender identities. So it's really not. My background is working with male youth who are survivors, and a number of them have been exploited by females. A number of them have been exploited by males. So from my background, my biggest push is always, a person who is looking to have basic needs met is somebody who's at risk. So when we have males that are experiencing homelessness, are struggling to eat, are struggling to have a safe place to sleep, all of that, they can and are victims as well. So really not overlooking our male youth, regardless of how they identify. We have males that are exploited. And I think it's really important when we're, as organizations, putting images out, putting kind of the awareness images out, like really be aware of who's in your community and make sure that we're acknowledging that males are victims too. So if you have signage of like a call this number, if you think you're a victim of trafficking or we're here to help, make sure you have imagery of males. Make sure you have imagery across racial backgrounds, because we never want to isolate, and just like be very aware of who your community is. I know growing up in DC, we have a very diverse community. So if I went around seeing only trafficking awareness signs of a white female who looks like me, that's not reflective of my community. And by that, images are so important. We're alienating other potential victims, survivors of seeking help.
So let me ask you. So we're speaking on our males again, and the reason why I'm asking, so people can kind of be aware of, again, signs and different, types to kind of look for. Typically, I'm thinking. So you're saying with our young males, typically you're finding them being equally sexually trafficked with men and women equally? Or would you not say that the males are typically sex trafficked more with males for male sex?
So at NCMEC, we don't collect data on buyers. So I couldn't answer that. But I think the biggest thing is really just acknowledging males can be victims and just being aware of that. I think a lot of people think of males as only perpetrators when they can be victims of trafficking as well.
Right.
Yeah. The documentary I was talking about was Sound of Freedom. Are you guys familiar with that?
I am familiar. I have not seen it.
Okay. Yeah. That opened up a window to a lot of things. And me personally, I've thought, and just kind of assuming it's a major attack. And I know it's devastating to a child. I can't imagine. I was molested before, and so it's kind of real pet peeve of wanting to seeing that stop. Never sex trafficking, but just the play that they use on people and our kids. Being real conscious of people. Sometimes we drop our guard and feel like people just like kids. Sometimes they like kids for the wrong reasons.
Mhm.
And that's kind of what coaching, educators, pastors. A lot of times people get into, working with organization groups, a lot of ways to get into, to do damage to our kids. I know all of them aren't sex trafficking. We want to support your organization. And at the same time, trying to just let people know, when people know that people are aware and we're watching everything, because it's a lot of kids that are damaged that never leave the home or never leave the country or the state, yet the damage is done. And every bit of information we can get on how we can better equip ourselves on how to save our kids. Of course, we won't be able to save every one of them because they're always designing and finding other ways, but as much as we can to eliminate, to get it to zero is always the goal. But, and we just really appreciate you guys taking the time out to talk with us. So if I ask these questions, it's because I'm trying to get people to kind of be alert and aware and stop thinking it's just sometimes these kids are right here on our noses and we miss it. I know what, flying out, they'll ask you, are you being trafficked? If give them a sign, let them know. They realize these people they're getting smarter and smarter. The victims are becoming more or less aware, and the parents are becoming less conscious of it, and don't realize sometimes these kids are damaged. I don't know if y'all deal with, just say, if kids are being molested and not being sex trafficked, is this a situation that you guys deal with as well? Or you say, well, basically we refer that over to law enforcement. There's other organizations to go there. We just typically just deal with trafficking. I know I said a lot.
No worries. I will let Leor take this one. But NCMEC, we work obviously on missing incidents, but we also work with exploitation. That's not trafficking. I think we have so many kids who haven't experienced trafficking, but have experienced some sort of exploitation, whether it's sextortion, it could be CSAM or that child sexual abuse material. And so the reason I love NCMEC and I was dying to work there is just how much support this organization has. And it's from that initial missing or exploitation report to a child being recovered or being identified as a potential victim, and supporting that family, supporting that legal guardian. So I will stop talking because I've talked a lot, but Leora, I will let you take over.
Hey, I mean, I'm pretty much just going to echo you there. I mean, what's really great about having Annabelle on here as a program specialist with the child sex trafficking team is that she's such an expert in that area, but NCMEC as a whole covers such a range of, like she said, we have our missing children's division, we have our exploited children's division, we have our family advocacy division. We have so many different departments working in so many different areas. So to answer your question, yes, we immediately are the ones who handle cases or reports or tips on whether it's a child being trafficked, whether it's a child being exploited, or whether it's a child that's been abducted or abused in some sort of way. We're handling all of those cases and helping get the information that law enforcement needs to solve those cases as fast as possible over to them.
Okay. I have a question in regards to the program in general. So once the children go to you guys, or the family, the child is being molested or sex abused sexually, do you guys have programs for the parents to educate them, or the families to help them recuperate for what they went through? And what do you guys do with those kids? What do the program does with those kids?
So we have an amazing division, the Family Advocacy Division, who I call the heart of NCMEC. And they're all mental health professionals, and they're there to support the family if it's a missing incident, while that child is missing, they're there to provide crisis support when that child's recovered. And then they connect folks to people on the ground. So we know that the best thing during this is a trauma. So it's good to have trauma-informed, person-centered care in your neighborhood once a child's recovered. So really vetting service providers, connecting a family to them. And then we also have an amazing volunteer-based group called Team Hope. And these are folks who have lived experience. So it's either a parent who had a child who was missing or exploited. It can be a now adult, but who was a child who was missing or exploited. And so being able to provide that peer-to-peer support, that's so unique because, you know, mental health professionals are wonderful, but being able to connect with somebody who was also the parent of a missing child when you're experiencing a missing child is so unique, and it's free. And these people are trained in trauma-informed care. They like really care about the community they're in, want to support other people. So that's what I really love, is just kind of having two branches of people who are mental health professionals. They've gone through the education piece. They are there to support family members, siblings when that child's recovered, and then connect them to something more long-term. And then we have a group of people who have just are normal people, but who unfortunately have gone through what you're currently going through. So they can talk to you just peer to peer. That's one of my favorite things about NCMEC, is just how unique it is to have kind of two sides of support.
Okay. And I see that they have a question, but I do have one more question. I know you said you guys do focus on the foster care kids, and I do know this because they don't have so much support. I can imagine that this is the population that is mainly happening to, but it also happening at home, right? From uncles, grandparents. I mean, I've had cases. I am a clinical therapist as well, so it's happened in some cases where either parents have abused their children.
Yes.
So do you guys do workshops into informing the parents on what signs they should be seeing at home? How is the child acting? What signs should they be looking for in case this is occurring in the house?
Yeah. So when I train, I talk a lot about familial trafficking, which is different than kind of that third party non-relative, where it can be biological parents and it can be, you know, an uncle, an aunt. And then I know I grew up with somebody who's my Uncle John. He's not related to me, but I trust that man with my life. He's my dad's best friend, and he's like a second dad to me, or an uncle. So I talk about that. I think by nature of being the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, we don't get those reports as much because a family that is exploiting a child is A, not going to report that exploitation, and B, not report that child missing. I don't have a strong background in familial trafficking. I am learning. But I think for that population, in speaking with survivors, just understanding how important mandated reporters are. So really making sure your schools have to have some sort of trafficking training, because these, you know, our youth are attending schools, they are interacting with adults, and that is what I've learned. I don't want to pretend for a second to be an expert on familial. I'm learning, and it's something I'm trying to strengthen that muscle for. But these kids really are attending school, and, have good attendance, have good grades. So it's sometimes our kids where you're like, oh, they're fine, that we do just have to check in on, right? It shouldn't be your child that has a trauma response or quote unquote bad behavior. But I know like really relying on teachers and school nurses has been something I've learned. And again, I really want to flag, I'm very new to this part.
I can add on to it. The link that just got sent at the bottom here is kind of an overview of what we do with child sex trafficking and what we're seeing. And to answer your question, it has on the second page there indicators, both physically and behavioral, that school educators and parents should be on the lookout for. Because a lot of times these children are scared to say that they've been abused or say that they're, dealing with this kind of trauma, and they need an adult or professional to look out for these kind of things. So there's a lot of signs on here that are just ways that can be used to identify, potential cases and stuff like that. But it's really having as many adults as possible weary of these kind of indicators and aware of what they should be looking out for. The more safe adults that know to look out for these kind of things, the more chances we have of saving a child before it gets to a dangerous place in their lives.
Leo, I'm gonna ask you a question. Can you give some examples of what exploitations? People may not know what it means to exploit a child, and what are those examples of exploitation?
So, exploitation just means any form of taking advantage of the child. We say a child is not physically able to consent. So using a child for your gain, whether that may be sexually abusing them, financially extorting them, like blackmailing them. There's several ways here that a child can be exploited. But when it boils down to it, it's not taking the best interest of the child into consideration and doing what is dangerous to them and is going to put them at risk.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
It's bad. I was just reading an article too. They have a disgraced police officer in Monticello, New York, has been rehired to the department after resigning. He admitted to sexually assaulting a 15-year-old in 2017. We live in a sad place. We definitely appreciate you guys coming on and talking with us and allowing us to get, talking with them on what you could and allowing people to get an idea. Some, I know they can never really get the full magnitude. You guys having to work there, deal with it, watching, although you rescuing them, realize this is just the first part of a long journey, and there's only so much you can do after rescuing them. This is a lifetime of injury that
Right.
Some can bounce back from, that some will never recover. Some might even turn into predators themselves for the hate or feeling they was left and it happened to them. I know it's a lot you guys have to deal with, and taking it home with you and having families or whatever, and dealing with and imagine we have so many different type of sick people in the world today. And do you guys get government funding? Is it hard getting funding this?
So I can speak to that. So we have some federal grants that come in for different programs, but a large misconception is that we are a full government agency or anything like that, when in reality, NCMEC is a 501c3 nonprofit organization, which means a lot of what we do is funded completely by public donations or fundraising events and things like that. So it's kind of a mix of both. We have certain programs that are funded by the Department of Justice and things like that, but a lot of what we do comes from groups like yours or just certain individuals who go above and beyond and wanting to protect children and help us raise money to do our work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's definitely. Do you find it? Do you guys find it frustrating at times, whether there are laws that kind of prohibit you from being able to get more involved, or do you feel sometimes that there are roadblocks that are put in front of you from government in some instances that doesn't allow you to do what you can do, or in prosecuting certain groups that you might run across? I don't know if y'all do you understand the question?
Yeah, I do understand the question. We don't deal with as many roadblocks with that just because we help process a lot of the information to get it into law enforcement's hands, as they're the ones that are often handling more of the like prosecution and things like that. We're more focused on making sure the child is found, recovered, and safe, and getting them back home as our main priority.
So do y'all have people that go on the ground that work with them, or y'all have like your own team of people that might be ex-law enforcement of some type, ex-military that might go into a country or go into a situation themselves to try to rescue? Or you
So when it comes to rescue, it is done by law enforcement, but actually we do have one of our biggest groups around the nation is what we call Team Adam Consultants. So Team Adam is named after Adam Walsh, who was abducted in 1981 and murdered, and his parents are the ones who founded the National Center after, the tragedy of his death. And so Team Adam Consultants are former law enforcement officers that have retired but still care so much about trying to help find and protect these children that they are able to be our feet on the ground across the whole nation. And they'll, help local law enforcement agencies with cases that we can help distribute to them, and often even train law enforcement agencies on like, hey, this is what you should be looking out for in a case of a missing child. This is where you should start your search. These are signs that you should look out for in a case of a trafficked child, things like that. So being able to have that group of like that network of former law enforcement individuals to work directly with us is one of the other like incredible, unique things about NCMEC, and just another way that we kind of try to touch in all those areas. Yeah.
Okay. Well, listen,
And I will just add, in my role, I have been incredibly lucky in my job, in my career, to work with survivors who are the most resilient people you will ever meet in your life, and just really affirm how resilient kids are, how resilient people are, and are willing to share the knowledge with NCMEC about how we can better inform our kind of outgoing practices. So whether it's NetSmarts, whether it's our one-pagers, I just think having survivor voice is the most important thing of being in any field, whether it's survivors of CSAM, of trafficking, of missing incidents. But one of my favorite things about NCMEC is just really being so intensive about survivor voice, and making sure when we go out and train law enforcement, child welfare, community education partners, that we're being very aware, very inclusive of survivor voice. So we're getting a meaningful message out, and just like doing the best we can by kids. And of course, the ultimate goal is prevention. And so the biggest thing I've learned, I've been in the field about 10 years, is just being upfront and honest with kids, looking out for kids in our community. It doesn't matter if you're their parent. It doesn't matter, if just checking in on a kid, right? I think we all have kind of natural inklings as adults of like, hey, this kid might be bullied, or something might be off at home. Like, what can I do to just help build this child's self-esteem, this child's network of safe people? So that's what I always tell folks in the community is like, don't underestimate your ability to build a kid up safely. And like, that makes such a difference in kids' lives. And just look out for, even if it's not your kid, even if it's not your niece or nephew, safely look out for the kids in your community. And it really makes a difference. And like whether that child or not would have experienced exploitation, trafficking, a missing incident, like you made that kid's day better. And there's nothing better than that, right?
And really quickly, I see this question at the bottom of the chat about the percentage of kids recovered in human trafficking, and I'd just like to answer that because as we don't have a specific number on that, we do produce an impact report every single year with every case that we see come through, and all of this is available on our website. I can send that along as well, but we do pride ourselves very highly in keeping a very high percentage of recovery. So last year, we saw 28,000. We assisted law enforcement, families, and child welfare with 28,886 cases of missing children. So this is runaways, family abductions, lost, injured, otherwise missing, non-family abductions, missing young adults, and we said that 1 in 6 are likely victims of sex trafficking. So we had a recovery rate of 88% last year.
That's great.
Which is a very, very high number that we're very proud of. Obviously, the goal would be to get that to 100%. But we try to make sure that as many of these kids as possible come home safely.
Let me ask you a question. What's the criteria in order to get your organization involved with the missing child?
You mean like what does a family do when a child has gone missing? What do they do to report it to us?
I guess I don't understand. Do you take every case that's presented to you?
There's certain criteria, but like before calling you, like me, I'm sexually trafficked by my wife. She's on here as well. I'm trying to give. Is there a signal I need to give y'all to let y'all know I'm sexually trafficked? But no, basically she asking like what criteria. Just say, if my kid's just missing, all of a sudden, do I call you or do I call the police? If my child's been missing for a period of time, if I think it might be, what does it take for me to be able to get you guys involved? Guess what situation?
So you can immediately report a missing child. There is not a waiting period. Sometimes there may be a period that it takes to begin actions on it. But as far as reporting a missing child, you can do that immediately when you consider the child to be, missing. Like even if it's been, a few hours or something, you can call. We have a 24/7 hotline. It's 1-800-THE-LOST. That can be called and a report can be placed. And then one of our call center specialists will, take it from there as addressing what the criteria is, what they should do with it, which law enforcement agencies should be passed on to, whether it's a local agency, whether it's a non-emergency, whether it's child welfare workers. They'll help determine what the next steps in the process are.
And in connection to that question that she just had, is there a different procedure with sex trafficking and child general trafficking? When someone reports a sex trafficking specifically, is it a different procedure for you guys?
So for us, you can report potential trafficking either through 1-800-THE-LOST or through the cyber tip line. And that will get reported right to an analyst. Every time somebody calls to report a child missing, we are asking questions around either endangerments, which could be, does that child have substance misuse? Have they previously run away? We're trying to really gather information around what that child's going through. And then the cyber tip line, if you're on, any social media or you just see something where it feels off, I always encourage folks in the general public to report. It could be child sexual abuse material. It could be somebody who's appearing to solicit a child online or entice them. just always report that. Electronic service providers are, if they're based in the United States, are supposed to report to us. But it is like, again, both are 24/7. We have folks at NCMEC who are saints, who are always working. And then based on the information we gather, we're going to send that to the appropriate team.
Okay.
You know what? I was looking at Leor's background, and his background says that Amber Alert saves lives. Both of you don't mind, can y'all speak on how Amber Alert has been really beneficial to your program?
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that we are the driving force behind Amber Alerts. So a lot of people know what an Amber Alert is, or they see a missing poster and they don't know what NCMEC is, which is really fascinating because NCMEC is behind all of this stuff. But so when a child is considered high at risk, we work with the agencies who blast, like when you get that notification on your phone and everything, who blast that out to make sure that we're covering as wide of an area as possible before a certain amount of time expires, where the child, might be passed along and out of a jurisdiction that and out of a timeline where they're most likely going to be recovered safely. We know that the best chance of finding a child safely is within that 48 hours. So that Amber Alert system helps us kind of activate, like, we gotta make moves on it. Like, we gotta do this now. We gotta get as many people involved as possible. And yeah, that's actually, this isn't even a fake background. This is the wall of the office. I'm still at our headquarters. We've got a bunch of conference rooms here at the office that say things like every child deserves a safe childhood, Amber would save lives, things like that. Just reminding all of us about the mission that NCMEC carries and why we're here.
Awesome. Okay. Interesting.
Well, we appreciate you guys' time and coming on. We know y'all time is valuable, rescuing kids and doing what you're doing, getting what family time you can in, personal time. And we want to personally thank you both for taking this time out to come on, talk with us, talk to our wonderful listeners, educating them on what they can do. We have you guys' information.
Yeah, of course.
So people know how to reach you. We appreciate that. So they know if a kid's missing, they can call your TIP hotline, where you gather information, can decide on, the proper chain of how to move from that point, how to deal with it. And that's great for people to know. Appreciate you guys. Hope we can get y'all back again. We definitely want to make you guys a organization that we support, and our other supporters, they'll send money to us. We want to be able to donate it. We all agreed on, we want to put the money somewhere in the organization. We want to say thank you again to Resident Joe, clinical counselor, and looking you guys up doing the work, because when we tell our listeners something, that's what we do. We tell them we're going to find an organization that we can support and try to have them on here so everybody can feel good about them. And we want to support you guys. What we can do. We don't have a whole lot, but what we can donate and what we can do, we want to do it. And we want to help good organizations that care about kids, that's out here helping people, regardless of the color or whatever. The main focus is helping people. And we appreciate you guys too, and everything you do.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having us on. And I'd just like to add, I just had it placed in the chat. But I've put a lot of the information that we discussed here on the fundraising page, which is give.missingkids.org/thewayofyah. We've got our hotline number on there. We've got our cyber tip line link on there. We've got more information about child sex trafficking. And then we've got information about how the donation gets used, whether it's to train law enforcement professionals, provide clothes and toiletries to survivors of sex trafficking, helping to pay for therapy visits, for families and survivors to heal, rebuild, and reconnect. All of this information is placed in the story on that page, along with giving people the ability to make direct donations to us and get more information. So you can check out that page anytime to donate there. And I hope you guys have a great event. I'll be in contact with you, Joanna, and Hopefully,
Yeah.
And even for folks who can't donate, make sure your Amber Alert on your phone is on. If you have access to the Ring network, we're very fortunate to have the partnership where you'll get a notification if a kid in your area is missing. Just really investing in your community. Look out for kids who might be missing in your community. That's my biggest plug is just we really rely on folks on the ground who are invested in their community, and we can't do what we do without folks on the ground. So thank you for that.
Listen, we appreciate you and count us in as a partner.
One last thing before you guys go, Leor, if you don't mind, you guys said, if I'm not mistaken, that you guys have mental workers that you guys have programs for free. Is that something you guys can share for the community free? Because it's really hard for people to get free therapy. Is that something you guys could share with the community? Free therapists, how can they get in contact with that? How can they find therapists that are free at cost for victims?
Yes. So we have our family advocacy division. I don't know why I have such a hard time saying advocacy, but it's my own thing. And they work cases that are sent into NCMEC and will work really hard to provide that crisis care and then find providers who sometimes can offer free, sometimes it's the sliding scale, but we really want to acknowledge that traumatic events don't stop once a child's recovered or has been identified. So I will drop the link into FAD, and they're the most wonderful people. And we always we're very lucky as an organization to really identify people who know what's going on, who are trauma informed, and do the best we can just to make sure families, children have the support they need.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Well, definitely, again, we appreciate you guys. We hope to get y'all back on. And again, count us as a group that will be looking to participate to help out. And our families on the other side here, these are people that join in with us every week and trying to help spread the news. So, you know, like I said, the more eyes we got on them, the less these people can hide.
Absolutely. Thank you again for having us, and I'll send that link.
Thank you.
Y'all so much. I appreciate y'all do.
Have a great night.
Definitely want to just say you appreciate both. If people don't tell you, I appreciate what you guys do for our
We appreciate you.
Definitely appreciate you. Y'all have a great night. Too.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Yeah. Also, I saw a question that was up there about how to identify traits. That question I didn't let them answer for the Lakiara. I don't think you'll actually look for. I think sometimes it's the most unsuspecting person.
There you go.
You know, you're looking for a type. Again,
Mm-hmm.
you gotta watch everybody. Preachers, kids will look up preachers. I'm a pastor. They don't hurt my feelings. You gotta look at educators. You gotta look at people in the organization.
Mm-hmm.
Look at these people, Boy Scout worker coaches.
Yes.
Kids look up to these people, and kids will do whatever they can do to please a coach.
That's right.
So when you start looking at this particular person, they don't have sex trafficker wrote on their foreheads. Now, me honestly, I think if it would have been said, I know sometimes organizations you're limited on certain things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm myself a proponent of. I don't see women buying a kid for sex trafficking other than to do it homosexually.
I didn't understand the statement. What did you say?
When you're finding boys being sex trafficked, they're being sex trafficked to other men.
Trafficked. Okay, so
That's
you
not something I don't believe women are strong. That's not something you're gonna find a woman doing. Who wants a small kid? A woman. There's no erection. There's nothing for him to do other than getting someone
That's
giving
true.
it to a man. I mean, I'm sure it is. I mean, I know people say, "Oh, you're trying to make it a homosexual." It's no, but you got to look at. It's not. I don't think it's always just about the sex. I think it's also about it's destroying the minds and the character of our young people. Look at what society is. You know what kind of detriment it does when a boy is molested by a man, when a girl's molested by a woman, because mentally it throws you. This is outside of normalcy, on top of the damage that's being done. So when you put them back in society, they don't just heal. Mm-hmm. It's not a matter of saying, "Oh, she shouldn't have had sex with you because of your age." It's a matter of your age on top of the fact this is just altogether wrong. Mm-hmm. So now the kid has to look at there's more than one damage been done to me. Mm-hmm. Not only was I, sexually molested, but I was sexually molested by somebody of the same sex. So this chick has to look at I'm demonized now.
Yeah.
That means, would you not agree? I know it's more to it.
Yeah. I think when a kid is targeted by the same sex, when it comes to sexual molestation, it's a deeper mental trauma rather than the opposite sex, because it's strange to the body. So it either hates the same person or it loves the same person. Mm-hmm. It never finds a balance into figuring out why that person touched them. Or sexually abused them. So it definitely, I feel like it definitely mentally destroys them more.
And it's purposed. Well, if people want to believe in that, the whole thing is purpose. They intend to damage that kid. They know that kid ever get away, that kid get back in society, that kid will never be able to function again. You're talking about a small child being molested by a grown man and past the other men. There's no way for that kid not to feel it's something that they done wrong.
Yeah.
Typically, an adult can make a child feel so vulnerable because of the height, the age, the voice command, and then you make the kid feel they done something wrong. And a child typically wants to please an adult. So these people have a technique what they're doing, and it's more detrimental than what people think. It's not about the sex as much as people think about. It's about the fact of being able to damage someone. Just like when you find these rappers now get caught up in this, now they call it SA, sexual molestation. It is because it's about damaging the person. Look, getting them on drugs, making them do sex with multiple partners, then making them doing it with the same person. It's about damaging you.
Yeah. And what she said were there's a lot of victims and foster care. I can see how that could happen. My question to her was, how can you identify this happening to a child, or what Lakira asked? Parents should be aware that these people are looking for kids that parents are not involved, or they have no parents and to protect them. So when they see that parents are not involved and the kids are vulnerable and they're looking for someone to be protected by, that's usually what they're looking for. So that's what I was kind of looking for her. I'm sure it's okay that if she doesn't have, but that's usually what parents should be aware. That's why I always get on parents. I know some parents dislike me saying this, but be on top of your kids, be a parent, because not because I want to be so harsh on the parent. I'm not a parent, but I see so many cases into where the kids are being victims because parents are not involved. Parents work too much, or parents just don't care. So for me, it's like, it's very important for the parents to be involved and to be parents. Again, I'm not a parent, but I see cases and I work with families and I can see how it happens. I see how it's being, these kids are being victimized. So when I say please be involved, it's not because I hate you parents, it's because I care for these kids. So parents do need to be involved. Parents not only be involved in correcting the kids, but in the child's life in general, from what they're doing with their friends, what they're playing, what they're watching, how's school going, look at their notebooks, what are they writing in their notebooks, literally everything.
That's what, giving them that attention. That's how the perpetrator gets them and gives them that attention, and they're consistent talking to them and doing, checking on them and things like that.
Exactly.
parent, it's hard to do that when you have, especially if you're a single parent, which leads to how these people, that number is higher with those kids with, single parents, because again, the parent has to do everything and the kid is there. So it's kind of hard. And that explains why the numbers are like that. But yeah.
And as a victim as well of I wasn't sexually abused, but I was molested. And in general, I was surrounded by people, friends that were as well, or growing up, I also saw that happening. It was, this person mainly saw that I needed some attention. I didn't have this quote unquote protection. So they make themselves look like, I'll give you what you're not getting from the person. So it's that attention, like you said, they observe what kind of attention you're looking for, and that's the attention they give, and then they attack. So you might not be, because again, I do understand parents work a lot nowadays, but these kids are being right now. I work with sex. Some part of the population I work with is sexually abused children, and usually the parents are working 24/7, and they left alone. And then the uncle gets home from work and sexually abused them because they're home by themselves. So it's, again, just be very aware and have a parent relationship with your child, not a friendship relationship, a parent relationship with your child.
The hardest thing, President Jones, is a couple of things you said. You said, I'm not a parent. You said that a couple of times.
I hear it a lot.
A lot of people, well, the problem is why they tell you too, they're not parents themselves. They might have, birth children, but being a parent comes with responsibility. I successfully, Tula and I, raised ours to adulthood and participate in our grandkids' life as well, where we fit in, So a lot of times you try to give people, try to teach them boundaries, rules. There's certain things you should know, but unfortunately, people don't want to know. You try to teach them about things starting they young, so you can start to kind of set a precedence on things and where they can become conscious to things as well. But a lot of times people kick off, well, you're not a parent, you understand? Typically it's because the average person is sorry and lazy and irresponsible. And they'd rather be a friend with their child rather than be a parent. Being a parent, you separate that and you realize my kid don't need a friend. You want to play, you go play outside with somebody else. I'm not the person you're going to play with. Okay, I'm your parent. My kids go, me and my boys now, we write some more together, we do stuff. And they were kids, they'll tell you they was a kid. They're adults, they're grown men now. I always still be their father. Relationship change, they reach adulthood. They understand, where I put them in as kids. They understand where they're lying, where things are crossed at. These are things you start doing at an early age. People of color, we knew that, and that was something that was a given and a known. It was a kid gonna fall out in the store. We already knew what color that kid was. There was no need to double check it. You remember that, Dwayne? What color was a kid? If a kid was in the store hollering and no,
white kids, non-pigmented.
You already knew that was that. What about what would have happened? You've been in the store, John, and you've been hollering,
slaps
all day. But like these people I got here, they'll do it. They'll let their kids holler, cry, whine. All it's like these kids are embarrassment. You're not embarrassed. I mean, you can ask me for something. You hungry? You can tell you want something to drink, and you don't understand what you need to do. When I tell you, I'm gonna beat your little behind. I'm just being honest. That's to save their life. The stuff that people do, it's lazy. They think this new parenting skill they got. That's why we losing so many of our kids. This new soul trying to be so educated, and you don't understand the discipline of raising a kid hadn't changed. Parent, child. Parents set the precedent. There was a couple of times they asked you what you want to eat. When they can't do it in the week, your food will put on the table. That's what you eat.
Yeah, that's very true.
They listen. I'm going to McDonald's. That's what you get. I'm pulling McDonald's. They're not going to be going out across the street. Somebody want McDonald's. Somebody want burger. Somebody want Taco Bell. This is what you get. They taught you, listen, I'm not going to be all over the place. And that's why people are so absolute. They're so open to so many different things. They got so many choices. When you came on, you get all these choices. That's what you would get.
I agree with
They
that.
asked your choice, but asked your pick. But listen, this was a great day. Did you remember Dwayne that you used to ask your parents say, "What you want me?" Your mama said, "What you want me to cook Monday?"
No, I remember I had to eat whatever she cooked, and I have to eat all my food first, and then drink my soda. Cause I can't just drink my juice first.
That's it.
Eat your food
Yeah.
first. Oh yeah.
I do have to say that's what you're saying is so true, preacher, because I was, as I've told before, I was raised by my grandparents, both my grandfather and my grandmother, until the age of 9, almost 10. And my grandfather was not educated. When I say educated school wise, my grandmother was, but they did such a great job. And they disciplined us at home so that when we were in the streets, we knew how to act. And we knew what was happening at home if we didn't act right. And it was like a scheduling they had, and they were old. It's like waking up at this time, taking a shower, breakfast, and we knew that schedule and we had to follow it. And if we didn't follow it, there were consequences for sure. So there was no other options.
These kids set the schedule. These kids plan the day. They're planning the meal. Listen.
Doing too much.
Listen, all the scheduling through the chick. You ain't going nowhere. I can't go nowhere. My kid don't know how to act. So I gotta wait. Let me tell you something. Discipline me in a car. You knew before you left home. Here they them had to pull me aside every time we go nowhere and say, okay, listen, we're about to leave. This is what you're not gonna do. You already knew. Listen, they weren't having that conversation with you. You knew this.
Sorry.
I would knock you out right where we at. Right where you do it, you'll get knocked out at. So when you watch stuff now, I gotta pull over. I gotta go talk to you. We ain't gonna do that but a couple times. When I get through that, they know my kids know. I ain't never take my kid away home before we get out the car. Let me tell you how y'all need to act. Please don't embarrass me. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Now I have said, so
huh?
I have said before we're going to have y'all don't eat nothing or blah blah blah. But now we definitely had that conversation.
My kids on here, and one of my kids on here, both of them down. When y'all remember me had to pull over no car and have no conversation with y'all. Okay, now listen. When you get in here, don't embarrass me. Get in here now, know how you supposed to act. What? I ain't playing no stuff. I tell them all the time. This new parenting stuff, I don't get it. It don't make sense to me. I don't know what people doing. I don't know how. And then I see people color doing. I'm like, I know you know better than that stuff. I see my baby. Oh, she said never have. She told her parents, they know. Bryce on he laughing. They know that stuff. That man never had no stuff like that. I don't know where this stuff come from. We got to sit down and have all these questions, talking with no child.
No, sir. No, sir.
You remember your dad? How your dad get you stop you from crying? You remember they pick him and hold you and pet you? You remember your grandparents do that?
They beat you again. Stop crying. Shut up while I give you something to cry about.
They'll send me to the room and tell me to come out till I'm ready. Like it was, I don't know. It's like go to the room, come out when you're ready.
Man, I'm telling you, don't him ready to help burn it down with you in it. You had to get right then.
Yeah.
He went ahead and he beat you. He did the beating on him. You know, go ahead and get that.
Yeah, and it's for the child's well-being to train them on how to act, and in case of any, it just educates the child on how to act and when they get to a teenage year, or what to do, and in case of a situation, it educates the child when you educate them as you're raising them. But again, the TV is educating our kids, and that's something that it's happening so often. It's like the kids have no survival skills, and I think it's because games and TVs are racing our kids, and it's so unfortunate because this is why these kids are being abducted, sexually abused. They don't have survival skills. It's so unfortunate and sad, but I think that's what adults should focus on, helping the children learn survival skills in case of situations, what to do. You come and tell me, this is how you react. But it takes work. it takes a lot of work. So,
Connor, we can't hear you if you're talking to us.
Wayno probably hit my mute button because I didn't hear it.
Wow.
Listen,
Wow.
I can see you being that kind of color, darky. But a lot of stuff you look at, it's just the fact that, you know, unfortunately, this parenting thing is just a whole. You see how many kids get sex trafficked come out of.
You're muted again, preacher.
Why do you hitting it?
Yeah, he keep hitting himself.
What Stasia said, the gentle parenting movement is ruining our children and taking the power away from the parents. That's right. Yes, it is.
That's right, Stasia. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what is it with come here, you know, and I'm not all against giving kids option. No, I'm not saying be a monster and beat them, but you know, I think children should know consequences, and children should know this is how my parent gives me options. You know, he's spoken or she's spoken to me, and I know that if I don't listen, there's consequences, which is punishment, right?
You know what? Let me ask y'all advice, and this is for Tony and Thule. Since y'all are parents, I think what I'm hearing is a lot. It falls back on parenting. But my question to y'all is, how do you prepare at being a good parent when you've never been a parent before?
That's a good question.
For me, I would say good parents come out from good, you know, it's the stock you come from, because you kind of learn to follow some of the traits of where you come from.
That's right.
Like my dad, my wife, both of us came out 2-parent home, which was good, you know. Now, I said don't be in one issue, but there's certain things you already kind of pattern out her daddy, you know, strong man, you know, in his marriage, and he put his foot down. He knows my daddy came out, you know, that's just it. He, you know, send everybody to the country, burn the house down. So it's just certain things. My dad, he was a man's man. You know, I watched him on a lot of ends. I could come out and watch him, like detailing him. I didn't realize how much I really watched about him, watch him be his own person. You know, he was his own person. He didn't look for somebody else to define him. He wasn't the type of father that he reminded me of, because he acted like his brothers or whomever. He was the third son. Can't think he had like 4 other brothers. And he was his own person. You know, he was that type of person. And he was a man where he had that pride of he would make his own way. You know, sometimes it was bad for the fact that he could have gotten some help in some cases and things could have helped him, but I understand him better. He just looked not to be indebted to people and not call up. That's something, you know, I strongly urge always with the members. I say, y'all not going to be hand and foot to nobody. Y'all not going to beg nobody. You ain't opening your behind and you putting it in your mouth. I was talking to Austin today, our youngest. I was telling him today, I said, I live that life and I keep that. Whatever I have, my kids know, my wife know, ain't nobody come and grab me my collar. Ain't nobody going to come up and manhandle me and say, boy, you owe me. You mine, boy, or into that, or you finna take this in your behind or put in your mouth. I tell them no, because I refuse to live like that to anybody. I'd rather have a little of nothing with a whole bunch of my dignity and my self-respect than a whole lot of things and no self-respect and no dignity. So that's some things I understand him about. I don't necessarily, maybe I would take a different approach, but it makes a lot of sense based off his situation and how he saw things with people. So I think that played playing a part with the type of person I became. You know, I had my mother. She's a great mom. I tell my kids they got a great mom, but I have a great mom. I feel my mom's great. She was great. Me and her did talk. I know Austin, my wife, they have talks. They have like a lot of talks. Me and my mom really had a lot of talks about a lot of things. We really did. That helped. You know. She had some real talks with me. We had real talks, and I appreciate that. A lot of it helped me, and I understand where she came from, why she did what she did, and she was a person that dedicated herself to what she did, looking at the overall picture. putting herself in some situations where I could do something different, but I did this because I want to give you this, and that meant a lot. And I do the same things with our kids, the same thing with her. A lot of, you put yourself out for your kids because you want them to know that if it's anybody that's going to go that extra mile to do for you, they need to know it's going to be you.
Mm-hmm.
Person who's going to look out for your best interest. There's no one going to be more invested in your best interest in your progression. So I don't think if I went by a book that said like how to parent, start parenting 101, I wouldn't, because every kid is different. Every relationship is different. And some of the things that a person will have to do with their child, you might necessarily never have to do. Then it might be some things that might be almost extreme you have to do with your child. Because a lot of your characters will be in your kid. Were you sneaky? Were you a big liar? Were you hard to get to understand things? You'll be surprised. You'll see yourself in your kids.
Mm-hmm.
A lot that you'll want to beat out and you'll want to get out is, wow, I see me.
Yeah.
So it's getting in front of things to make sure you cut things off, to make sure, before. So, you watch people like my dad, he saw a friend, he told me not my friend. He cut it off. A lot of people, it's some people he cut me off from in life, which was good. There were some people I did get when I understand they were bad people. But I looked at Bryce is more like me on a lot of ends of he'll wait to find out later. Austin kind of comes into more of me now of let's not find out later. Let's just take Dad's advice and go ahead and do it. Bryce is good, but he reminds me a lot of me. He gonna get out there. He gonna be that fool and do it with his friends. Growing up, I mean, that's what he was. He was just me. I see that get out. I'm gonna get out and do it. I'm gonna go and push that envelope and do it. And you can get yourself out. Who are just you can to it. So you see a lot of yourself in your kids, and people admit it. That's why it's so important to show them the new you.
Interesting.
Yeah. I stress my kids never see me drunk. They never see me high. They never see me on no street. They never seen that. All thing they knew about me, they dad to work, they dad to make money, they dad to bought cars. You know what I'm saying? They see me and saw me be a pastor. That's all they seen.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since they ever known me be a preacher, pretty much they've always known me be a pastor. They were so small when I started. So that's all they've known and saw me do. So, that helped, I think, play a major part in, coercing them over to this way.
Mm.
But I guess the best advice, I know I said a lot, is understand you and understand your kid. I wouldn't tell them, man, if I do this, you don't have to beat them. I wouldn't necessarily say that. Because it's going to depend. Some kid character doesn't call for beating.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just being honest. Every child is going to be different on the discipline. Some kid, I'm being honest with you, you almost gotta beat the behind off them and put in the bag because they just going. I remember Bryce, woo. Smith remember Bryce once, he was terrible. Oh, he was smart. Oh, he was terrible.
He wasn't terrible.
No, he was terrible. He was terrible. But we adjusted that behind. We got on the same page. I mean, but you can't give up. You had to get, She was frustrated too, yes. He was. But we had to be on that behind.
Yeah, because I had right behind him. So I couldn't, I couldn't let him keep me because I had, boom, there was another one right there. 15 months apart, boom, another one. Two cars. I couldn't spend that much time like that, so he had to get right.
No, he didn't. No, he was terrible. He was terrible. He was like Hop on him. He was terrible.
Terrible. He was not. What's terrible? He wasn't terrible.
Okay, the time they couldn't find him at school.
Okay, that because they don't
the
know.
Time he spit in the teacher's face.
Whoa! He spit in the teacher's face. Tell me that story. Wow.
She told him, "Listen, I came up that day." She said, "He had spit in my face," and then I told him, I said, that's not nice. That's supposed to spit in people's face and say he spit in her face again. I said, lady, you should have slapped him straight in his mouth and slapped. I picked that joke up out of the ground. I told that I picked that joke up. I told that joker, I said, you know what I'm gonna do to you, right? I said, you done. He's listen. Oh my God.
How old was he?
Pissed. He probably like 5.
Oh, he was a baby.
Listen, I let him know. I said, you done.
At least he knew he was done.
This lady told him, Bryce laughing on him wrong that. Bryce wrong that, don't you, Bryce? So listen, so the principal told me, she said, well, Mr. Smith, she said, we can't talk to him like that. I said, lady, I said, let me tell you. I said, I don't know what y'all doing up here. I look at him, I said, I'm looking like this nigga. I'm like, there's no way he could have done that. But they had this talking thing where they did a lot of talking. And they told me, so the principal told me,
they weren't going to his school.
no, okay. You spin my face. I'm finna school you right now. But anyway, so I told the lady, I picked that joke up. I let him know. Little Bryce saw his funeral, everything. So
I'm sure.
She said, well, Mrs. Smith, she said, we can't talk to him like that. You can't do it. I said, lady, let me tell you something. I said, this joke is done. I said, you don't let him do that. So listen. So I came back up there one day, probably about a week or two later. She came. She said, Mrs. Smith, can I talk to you for a minute? I said, yeah. She said, the other day, she said, this kid was in the class, he was acting out. And I used your method. She said, listen, this chicken, I said, I'm trying to tell you, that stuff you're doing, it's not working. You just told him not to spin his face, and he spin your face again. So you can see that doesn't work.
Right.
She told me, she said, Miss Smith, I got in that kid face. And I told her, she said, listen, your method works. I said, I'm trying to help you, lady. She said, listen, you want me to know that between me and her. Listen, she wanted, so y'all found out about it now. She just wanted to let me know. Listen, your method works. But my kids know, though. I mean, I spent time with them. What? I used to pick them up from school. Oh, yeah, I didn't. They remember I used to pick them Negroes up from school, take my time out. Oh, I didn't? I would go shopping. I would buy them food. I would make them that hula burger.
That hula burger look good. That we made for Britt, it look good.
Britt, where my baby Britt? Britt, them
you really need to get a chef channel. You need to get a cook channel to be chef.
This day, beside my grandchildren, I have grandchildren. I have one child, Brittany Sharon Smith. I have one child. On one step out, they ran me down. Them niggas Eastman. Oh, that thing disgusting. He thought he was doing something. Listen, this me taking out of my schedule. I'm working, trudging, everything now.
Get a daddy or uncle?
Uncle.
Oh, okay.
Because I knock out their mom. You know, when their mama get knocked out, she said, this your uncle. So I was uncle. He said, well, I will pick them up from school, go take them, get a haircut, take Ellie, get her hair fixed. They get through, I take them out to eat. Or either I will go buy the food, I'll bring them home, I'll buy the meat. It'll be bison, turkey meat, and ground beef. And I'll make them a burger. Oh, I put them sliced turkey on it, a roast beef on the cheese with the bacon. And I'll make it
all right.
Cut them up and make them homemade French fries. And they sit in my face like, And I heard them niggas run me down. Them niggas on. So what I did, I went to the store, I bought it. I said, okay, I'm gonna cook it. Videoed it. You can pull up that video. Love, can you just please find that video? Let's hear the witness. Can we hear my baby? Please let me hear my only child.
I don't know where the video at. Y'all, people in the crowd, y'all send it. Put the video in the thread.
It was on. And Smitty put it up. YouTube. We was in the kitchen. Somebody find that video.
Oh, wait, you said it's on YouTube? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I saw you had it on YouTube. It had me and you in the kitchen. I think I had Tony and Tula in the kitchen. Tony and Smitty in the kitchen cooking, something like that.
Did they say it was bad?
Oh, they ran it down. But
I found it. I found it.
Let's let them see a little bit of it, and then let's let them hear. Let's hear what the person said who ate it. That's the only way to do it. Somebody impartial. Impartial.
Beats white. Oh, I was gonna say what?
Look at that. That's a clean skillet. Look at that. You want to know why am I using?
Butter.
We're preparing to do now. We're preparing to fry the eggs. We already have our vegetables washed. We have our onions, our tomatoes already cut up. So we have spinach. The mixed with this is what we'll put on the burger instead of putting the lettuce. So you can see we have our pretty cut tomatoes already, red tomatoes. We cut those up. My wonderful assistant Brittany. So now we're preparing that. For that wonderful thing. Fry up 2 eggs. Each burger deserves to have its own egg. You can say I have my mask on, COVID-19 protection. You know, I'm cooking for others as well. Mm-hmm. So I want to cook, we can talk, little things come out so it doesn't hurt or hit a little cough or anything, allergies, using spices or things. You want to make sure you take care of that. Look at that man. Man, I like him. If you could, you show over here. You show a copy of jealousy, please. So you can see what jealousy looks like. For the face of what jealousy looks like. I want to make sure that you did.
That's it. That's hate right there, y'all.
When we're creating greatness, there's a lot of hate. So you definitely want to make sure your room, there's good space, social distancing. Show where she is again. Show here. This is not what you want to do because you don't want to get on your hate. So you start to walk away. Social distancing, safe for hate. Hate can be as dangerous as coronavirus. So we definitely try to encourage those of you that have haters to stay away. We let our butter heat up.
Burger done.
We use the side of the skillet. See that?
Why you didn't put it in a bowl?
Don't need it when you're talented.
You should put it in a bowl.
That's what it says. That's what
No,
she
you
says.
don't.
But as you can see,
She don't know
busted
something.
and
There
we go. See,
She don't know
you
no
what you're doing.
Thank
Don't have to worry.
But tell me how you gonna end up
I know how to split the egg.
That's fine. Why would you do that?
Listen,
You just do it.
listen. I have members that are twins. What I'm doing is the same thing that happened when they was born. You split the egg.
That's two different eggs.
Yeah.
Two different eggs. It's the same shell. They come from the same chicken.
Same
That's
chicken.
See how you see that fight in that? That hate.
So wow. Very little. And if we see that, I'm having more problems with her here than I'm having with.
That is big.
Yeah, slightly.
Okay, that's fine.
Politely. So don't know what you want to see him. And watch this greatness. Typically, we will put pepper, put a little bit of seasoning on the eggs as well, but we don't want to do too much because of the fact of we're going to also be added to the burger. So we don't want to heavily season. You heavily season your eggs, then you still season your burger. Then you got too much going on. Okay? That's it. Put a little ground pepper on there.
Y'all hear that fresh ground pepper?
I'm trying to help, sir.
If I could not hate, I would be a different human.
Turn down a little bit. It's an egg. I don't think
One here for the naked be involved. No. Hey, it's just an emotion.
Y'all hear that good singing?
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Come out with that. You can slide it forward. Now get them over toward the burger. Just slide it forward a little
You
bit.
have to watch your little potion. This egg going to jail. Captivity, see that pretty egg? Now, do we have my bacon?
Yes.
May I have it?
Why?
Please, why? That's the why. Why?
Why do you need the egg? I mean,
Now it's time to say goodbye to our unwanted company.
Wow.
Oh no! Oh, we already did the bacon. Oh, so okay.
See,
Bacon's already done.
Oh, you wanted me to cook.
That's a that hate. Ooh, boy, she can't stop it. That just be eating her up so bad. Chris, what's going on?
I gotta find that the other end of that video. I guess that's the first part.
That tight. See, soon as I'm about to blow up a beat, so I heard Breezy complaining about Aim Smith Burger. And 5 years ago, she his chef. Now, let me tell you about that hypocrite. Bryce so that had her cooking from all time. That man that's so full of junk. No, that man will talk that trash and eat the food at the same time.
Oh, will.
Wow. That Wula burger look good though, man. Look like you.
Hold on, you put it. Get up, let them see that pretty burger. Let them see what they got on there. He talking about.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it.
Never went. Oh, you don't eat my mama
it's broken up in different parts, so I'm trying to find the parts to it.
Cause they see too much, they're gonna learn too much, then they're gonna go there and try to do it. Then when you're gonna mess up.
That's what I was trying to see, Preacher. I was trying to see.
You trying to
right.
Oh,
here it is. I think I found it.
It sounds good.
Oh, listen, they want me to cook them one. I got something I supposed to make them one.
You don't even cook.
Let's see. This is part 3 right here. Let me see if this is it right here.
So,
all right, this right here show the burger cooking in the making and show the.
I want to see how the burger. If the burger looks good,
let's see what it look like. Okay. There's lamb, bison, and turkey.
The reason why I do that is you see the little cut, so to make sure it's cooked all the way through.
So you can let the juice is out.
They do that, but I want to make sure it's cooked all the way through. Though. I don't know how to get it black. She want old black burger.
No,
I like nothing white, doing them white.
No, sir.
I thought I want black as a Cadillac.
Wow, that's hilarious.
That thing spinning because it's in that saying, man, them burgers gotta be
My baby, that's my baby breast.
You got lamb, bison, and turkey meat right now.
I'm sorry, me and Brett. On here make beautiful meals together.
You hear that? Oh.
That smell good, Brett.
Yes, they do.
Thank you,
Y'all hear my
Brett.
baby Brett? My Brett tell her. Yes, it do sound. It smell good.
Hey, can kill you.
See that?
It is so dangerous. Hey, it's worse than coronavirus.
That's it. We coming out with it.
It won't leave, trying to kill you and your reputation.
That's
You
hilarious.
and Breeze come in now. Breeze said back then, he said I didn't
He
complain.
said he
but-
liked it back then.
Yeah, but you know what? You want to hear? You know who was that? It was Austin running down. You want to hear that day? Oh, Austin ran it down. That jump was nasty.
Again, it's Bryce.
Bryson, listen, Bryson, one of my good kids.
No,
It's not hot there.
Okay.
Oh, wait, he gave me 2 years old. Yeah.
What do you think? Why you had a mask on?
Because I was cooking, you were talking over the food, you want no spill in the food.
Really?
Oh, he said my mom, he like lima beans.
Yeah.
You hear what he said? He said I used to brag about them to my mom. Oh, that's who. Look at that. Look at that. She can't stay from over there. Look at
She can't.
She
You were so.
You know what?
You were frustrated too.
I want to know how did they taste, and I want to hear from somebody who is unbiased. I need to hear the review from unbiased.
This is
somebody who has
Brittany
tasted
first
the
time.
hula burger.
Brittany first time eating it's gonna be now.
You know what? And I think we got a live witness.
Let's show the burger first. We
who
gonna get the
actually
live
sampled and ate the burger. Let's hear and
Listen.
see what this live
Can we
witness.
show? Can we see
ended
what
up
she said
saying.
when she first ate the burger first, please? Baboon.
There you go.
Yeah, listen.
My bonnet. Okay. That's already rolling.
She is picky. That's true. So if she likes it,
Yeah, look at my bonnet. Okay. That's already rolling. And then put it back.
Britt is a
Hey, hey.
AJ with some fish.
hula burger. Hey, let's give me drum roll.
I'm good.
Huh?
There it is.
Huh? You hear that? The hula burger.
He said she ate the whole burger. That's rare.
Look at my baby. Look at her.
I know what I'm doing, Britt.
Are you hungry, Britt?
Table.
You hungry, bro?
I just ate
That's a good burger, ain't it, Britt? That's what we're me down for, Britt. That burger was nasty. That junk wasn't no good.
If only y'all
Look
knew.
at all y'all knew Britt.
Wow.
But that thing make you go up and show you a little way.
Look at my little
Ain't it
AJ.
good,
That's my
Britt?
little big man.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Britt. That's all
You're
we're
so
trying.
chunky though.
We're just trying to bring a little love in the world. That's all.
Trying to tell
There
y'all.
it is. I believe the video. I believe the witness.
You saw her, Britt took another bite. Listen, you saw
Oh,
Smitty
yeah.
couldn't start in that kitchen. She was so frustrated.
Yes.
What did that? Them eggs. Just wanted to go on a bowl first. I said, here she go. The woman just weighs up stuff. He said, I never complained about the burger. FYI, this is tight. Britt, do you not remember running them down? Now the man, now ain't nobody complaining about them burgers.
All
Listen,
in
see
the way.
Somebody.
talking about the kids all in the way. What about the fact, don't you not remember also talk about how nasty them burger was? He said, my dad used to make them burgers. I used to take them out to eat. Listen, I would take them out to eat. I would sit down and talk with them, talk to them about life, talk to them about stuff. Because Bryce had his hair was taller then. He was trying to have his hair up, trying to do the fro, so his definitely wasn't getting his head at that time. But I showed with 10 minutes with B Breezy. That the burger was cool. It was the fact. It was the only thing you make. No, it wasn't. I cooked more. Listen, I was tired, man. That was time. Y'all was kids. What y'all eat? I could have cooked the dinner. Y'all wouldn't eat no dinner.
Did you have a burger at home when I got home?
Cause you don't know how to make that burger. I wouldn't have had you do that. That's
it. Was over and over and over.
He said my mom was the only one I remember. I only said it was a whole lot of meat because the patty was thick. That's okay. You came now. It was over and over and over. No, it was not, Joe, because I would take y'all to eat. Don't even play that. I wasn't cooking every weekend. I would do it every night. And I would take y'all out to eat. Oh, spit in the face, Joker. Where y'all spit it? Tour. Said we out here now, Rob. I know we out here. They done switched up like Lee. There you go. They switch up on you, man. Because my mom was taking classes. So it was either burgers or Sunday barbecue. Thank you. So I would pick them up. That's right. I would pick them up. They'll go to school. Mind you, this is my time. I had to do nothing for them kids. They used to eat Zaxby too. I'll get y'all Zaxby. Yeah, so much. She was our stepmom. I remember when my dad would buy us chicken sandwiches from churches with the red drink. Oh, there you go. Yep. That strawberry drink. I grew up on that strawberry drink. Listen, Church and Chicken. I can't drink no red dye drink now. Church and Chicken got the best strawberry drink out there. It's strawberry too.
It is.
Strawberry. You want a good strawberry drink? Wendy's. When somebody got in trouble, he said, "Yo, they got Wendy's. Yeah, they was in trouble." And, see, kids run that stuff. They forgot about that. The Wendy's. They went to Wendy's, Zaxby's. Listen, I had to pick them up, but you know what? A lot of dads wouldn't have done that. Listen, I had to go to basketball games, 7:00 in the morning, and then we had to go to work for now. Take them kids. We moved around. We had to do so much stuff with them kids and running business. I remember I'm doing trucking, pastoring. I got into trying to build houses. Just started out then being a builder. Then we had a little restaurant. So we was all over, and we had 3 small ones.
It's funny. People think now it's like we do a lot. Like this is just
no, this ain't nothing. Now we did more. We had them jokes. We had to keep up with them, get them the games, do stuff with them. It was like we were all over the place down there. We know what we were there between both of us. I remember Bryce had us to come to school one time, his awards day. We was looking at him, he said, yeah, I'm getting an award. How come? So it was like award. So I took off from work. We about getting that money. We came to school, we sit up there. So they had the honor roll kid, they had them principal there, we looking. He said, yeah, that's nothing. I'm looking like nothing. I'm like, okay. Then honor roll kid. Then they had the kid had honor roll but had bad. He said, yeah, that's like kids were like their grades were good, but their behavior bad. So I'm gonna keep looking at him thinking, what award he getting? Man, they just going through all these awards, teacher praise. He gonna try to figure they got for him. So we see him. I done took off from work, right? She done came from work with him. We said they call her Anthony Bryce Smith for a perfect attendance. Like, man, I took off my job.
That's no word though.
Okay.
That's good.
Pissed.
That was the only thing I pushed my kids for when they were in school.
Listen.
You have to pop on getting that word.
You know what? My granddaughter, I call her mama. She hollered, she told her that. She said, pissed. He said, man, you got my daughter said, I was pissed. I'm sitting here like, man, I took off from work to come up here and you got perfect attendance. He ran down people on, and then what was bad, they gave all them certificate. Perfect attendance, they gave them a medal.
Yeah.
A medal.
That was not
perfect attendance.
That was big.
Some people, it's hard for them not to miss school.
Huh?
For some kids,
we were working perfect attendance to get socially promoted.
Listen.
That's something that's
I mean.
Mountain Lion instead of Mountain. He said Mountain Lion instead of Mountain Dew. Listen, them kids were terrible. He said, you invited me to barbecue with Flounders Burger, I'm leaving. With Flounders Burger, I'm leaving.
Burgers.
Man, them kids ate good, man. My dad, what is that? My dad used to let us skip school every night. He remember that. Yep. I let them roll with me in my tractor trailer. And I come out there, I taught them some work. Them jokers be on my CB. Break 119 radio check. Break 19 radio check. And you know what I'm saying? You tell me to send the mail.
Hey, what about the Bears? You know about them Bears?
I taught my kid about that. Full grown bear. Full grown bear, you let them know. You tell them it's a full grown bear. That's a state patrol DOT.
Yeah.
County mounting. That means it's a local. Oh, that's not. That's like a sheriff car. Then you tell them it's a city kitty. That means hey, you got a city kitty. That means it's a local police, like a city police.
Yeah.
So they been on the C. They weren't gonna see about break 19 radio check. They want somebody to come out. They tell me to send the mail. You said appreciate that hand. That's what you tell me. Appreciate the hand.
That's all right. And stay away from them light lizards.
Look at that. That is so sweet, Tony. Both your boys.
One time we went to truck yard down was a pile of mess not far from the truck. He told us
Wow.
What was
I don't remember this. This man said, hold on for a minute. What did man say? He said, one time we went to the truck yard, there was a pile of mess not far from the truck. And when we left, he told us that he knew the guy who did it. He was a good guy.
That's tight. That's tight.
Listen.
It sounds like you, Richard.
That's exactly what that sounds like to me.
19. That's it. Break 19 radio chat. Oh my goodness, crazy. That man said orange box, frozen patty, those burgers. You ain't lying. That orange box, them things are disgusting. My kids got handmade.
They had fun. Look, they have all the stories.
Yeah. You tell me I appreciate a hand. That right. You tell me they tell you that break 19. Who they got around? You took Jerome way back. Oh yeah, they had that. What is that? We told them folks it was all type of officers in the road, truck hitting the brake for no reason. You leave me in the truck, they be on the CB man just talking. Telling folks that you tell them, I tell them it's a county mounted, full grown bear, state patrol, DOT. County mounted, that's one of sheriff cars, county police. Then you tell me you got a city kitty, that's a local. And they'll appreciate that hand. Yeah, them kids, man, they had a light. I used to put my lap, let them sit there and drive. We've been in the parking lot, let them drive around there, let them drive in the parking lot of the yard. Cooking, didn't make that up. Preacher just don't remember. There you go. Whatever. Kerry, how you remember so much? Man,
wow, that's
on down too. Oh,
that's
ain't nobody.
Story.
See, that was on that playing. Man, got time not playing. The man customer out playing on the radio. Yeah, we had some times though. But I tell anybody first time parenting, it's an experience. Learn from it. Think about yourself where you were. Consider where your kids at and what I think it's important to consider the time period you live in. Stuff that they told us. And I don't care what nobody kids do. Stay away from them kids. Don't talk to them. Don't be around. It's impossible. You got to be around. You just got to learn how to navigate. Like I taught our kids, I teach them how to navigate around them. Because you'll put yourself in a detriment in school, especially when they've been used to you being apart. Now I'm not. If that's not something that you got your own conviction for doing, and you're doing it because the parent is not genuine, you'll get your kid hurt, get your kid in a situation. Mm-hmm. So it's important to understand how you were, what you were trying. Your kids the same way. Everybody want to be popular. Everybody want to be liked. Everybody want to be admired. Everybody want to be great. Everybody want friends. Nobody goes, I don't want friends. I don't want people. That means your kid has got some kind of mental problem. So understand your kid that you just got to teach them how to do it without getting themselves into situations. I would definitely encourage. That's what he said. We went to Burger King for breakfast one morning before going out on the road. I ate all the hash brown before they ever got in it. They called me hash brown boy that day. Yeah, he stole a lot of stuff. The kid eating mess. It sounds too detailed. Who is UNC?
Uncle.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna tell Kerry. Yeah, Kerry. I know Kerry's a problem child. Kerry's on the bus with Johnny Gamble. He said the windows were all dark and out, and he said they would get to school late every day. because Johnny Gamble would come up down the front and lean in the bus driver. I said, Johnny, go back there and sit down, Johnny. He said, I ain't doing nothing. I ain't doing that. And then he'll open the door up and jump out the bus. And Johnny Gamble be running between people's houses and y'all say riding the neighborhood trying to get Johnny. Every day we get this. I'm looking at Kerry like, so your bus driver wasn't clever enough to realize every day he comes up here and lean, he gonna open the door and get off. You gotta look at the bus driver needed help too. It wasn't just the students on that bus. He gonna tell, I told my mama, I'm not supposed to be on that bus. I have a behavior problem.
He told me that.
But let me ask you a question. Now, you've been a clinical psychiatrist, right? A clinical therapist. Do you think he don't belong on that bus? He had a behavior problem. What does it sound like Johnny Gamble had the reason he would open up his door and jump off?
Yeah.
So, would you say Kerry didn't belong on that bus?
It could be. I mean, he was there. He said that it was his mom punishing him. He told me it was his mom punishing him.
Let me ask you a question. Your mama can have you put on a dark bus, a bus with black windows. Your mama has nothing to do with that. That's the school. They picked that bus because they're looking at, you know what? You and Johnny Gamble need to sit beside each other. They realize you can't tell Kerry used to cut up in school.
Yeah.
You don't think Kerry you don't think he had a behavior problem?
It could have been, yes, possibly.
Look at that. He was listen. Let me say, well, it was a punishment that I learned from. Let me ask you a question. Do you believe Kerry learned from that bus ride? In your professional opinion?
No.
Let me ask you a question. Love Doctor. The man said he would put on that bus with the dark tinted windows. Short bus with Johnny Gamble, who to jump out the bus while he was going down the street at 60 miles an hour.
Wow.
Every day the same thing. Because his mama had him on that bus as a punishment. Can your mama control you being on that bus?
Bridget, did he tell you his story though? Did he tell you the story of him being in the room?
You were with friend and said, clean through a red light. He didn't smell.
Johnny and the rest was academically impaired, not me.
What? Johnny and the But you think they had this one kid on the bus? He
was the only one not good.
Yeah, we're not believing it. Who on here believe that Kerry didn't belong on the bus? Kenny Wonders. Was he gremlin, vampires, or something? Listen, that man know good well. No phone don't just put you on that bus. Kerry gets a lot of shit doing service. He ain't learned nothing. Oh, yeah, thank you. Kerry ain't learned nothing. Look, Johnny and the rest of them were academically impaired and not me. He got talking about, I told him I'm not supposed to be on that bus. Watch them folk done tested you, Kerry. That's how they get on that bus. When they get that test back, listen. When they give you them blocks and you pick them up and just start throwing across the room, they say, don't worry about it. We know your bus. Everybody get the block, you stack them on top of each other, you stack them up. They're like, okay, get on that other bus with the once you walk in that room and start throwing them blocks across and start hollering, I ain't supposed to be in here. They be like, don't worry about it. We got your bus out that way. They be like, it ain't that many people on your bus either. It's only a few of y'all. Everybody else bus, you had to get out. You're on the other bus, you'll get on there on time. You won't get a seat. You'll be in the back. You're like, damn it, man. Down here, you'll be up to the front with a squirt, with a nerd. You want to be in the back with a cool kid. So they're like, your bus, you only have to fight for no seat. Listen, ain't but a few of y'all on that bus. That's why they didn't care what time to get to school.
He said they diagnosed him with ADHD at that time, but he refused to drink the medication. But the kids in the classroom were drinking the medication, and they were like zombies. Like he said, he was so scared. He said he was so scared. He would tell his mama, "I'm not supposed to be there."
Well, there's your question. Now, Joe, as a clinical therapist, how exactly do you get that medication? Your mama just come in there and tell her to put you in that room and get that medication. And your parent diagnosed you with ADHD.
No, I'm sure
you taking medicine. How you think that happened? In your professional opinion,
it was a process.
Love Doctor, do you think that his mama just told him to get him that medicine and put him in there and let him throw them blocks around at other people?
No.
That's a test. They told him, man, this is a test.
It was a punishment, preacher. It was a punishment for him.
I used to get that prize candy. What this man talking about? What candy do they have as a prize on Friday?
Stop.
What is this man talking about? I've never in my life heard of no. You know anything about this? Some prize
He
candy?
said he got candy every Friday.
Yeah. Cause he wasn't taking the medication. They were putting in the
Oh,
candy.
the candy. The medication was.
Oh, listen. My mom wasn't going for that medication. What? Listen. They gave him, listen, he used to get a bent up Tootsie Roll. You know why? Because you put the can between the Tootsie Roll, you bend it up, you mash it up, you're like, here you go, Karen.
He said that he would not take that medication because it was like people's zombies.
One piece of candy. Oh, boy.
Karen, this is so much. Karen, listen, I'm so thrilled right now. I'm just glad we got you back. Karen, I'm telling you like my uncle told me, man, we done that lost you, Karen. Listen, I wasn't in there for 4 months. I mean, listen. You think you can hold a kid now for 4 months for no reason? Man, that's over a semester and a half, Karen.
That was
That's how many? Hold on, you in school for what? 8 months. So that figured that joke was in
half
there
of
for
a
a
year.
semester. So he was in there for a half a semester, for a whole semester.
And I wonder why they gave him that candy at the end of the week.
I know why they gave it to him. They're like, he gonna take the medication. He just don't know he took it.
He the only one probably got that.
They had you at the prize. That's what they got him at. They're like, their prize candy is gonna be it. We just gotta tell them, hey, there's a prize for you every Friday. Let me ask you a question.
Got it too.
So medication do look like candy.
Look, let me ask you, little dog. Does Kerry look like the kid? Like, you know what? You won this prize every Friday. Did he look like a kid that wins a prize every?
I wouldn't know what he do to win that prize.
What the criteria to win the candy, Kerry?
Don't take your medicine during the week.
That's my
Preacher, I didn't know you knew. I didn't know you knew that story, Preacher.
But Johnny Young, he told her that stuff. Then he came to me. He talking about Preacher. When I want to hear, come on. I said, you remember they told her we were dyslexic? I said, what? When they told her we were dyslexic, I said, Kerry, if I never talking about dyslexic, you remember they told her we were dyslexic? I said, Kerry, anybody never talking about dyslexic. When we was in chapter, I said, Kerry, I was not in no chapter 1. I don't know what you're talking about. See, we Hebrew, we read from right to left. They different. They read left to right. So that's why they said we did that. So he asked the teacher, the guy said, he said, well, no, actually, more white people are dyslexic than blacks. He said, that's why I asked the question. I said, there you go. Kelly thought he had figured out if we were dyslexic, that meant that because we were Aubrey, you know what I'm saying? Because we read, because you know the book read right to left. So he's looking at we read left, everybody read left to right, the one that's sick. But he told him more white people actually are dyslexic than black people. So now Kerry was stuck again. But I appreciate Kerry. Please tell her, Kerry, what was the qualification? Oh, they ain't gonna tell her. Wait, okay.
Was an 8.
I was a straight 8A student.
Straight A.
No. Listen, okay. Yeah, what we're gonna do. What room was you in? You spell straight like that? And they gave you a diploma.
And they gave him A's.
None of that makes sense, do it. None of that makes sense. Let me tell you something. Listen, I know when a child trouble. Now, let me sound. Now, you remember one time, Love Dog, you said you were bad when you were young. You remember that?
Yes, we know that.
Do you remember your parents going to tell them put you on a bus with them dark color windows and let folks jump out the bus?
Buddy. Never happened.
That's all we saying, kid. That I asked the question. That's all. He said I was talking about generational, not you actually. Okay. Yeah, right. Kerry, you ain't rubbing nobody's face and said, remember. The man ran, you remember they told us? I said, Kerry, they didn't tell me that. They told us when we was in you said when we was in chapter 1. I said, Kerry, I was not in chapter 1. I don't know what you're talking about. So Kerry, it wasn't me. Blondell, was you in chapter 1? Was you on that bus?
Oh my gosh.
So Kerry, you were getting straight A's on the yellow bus with the dog windows. And every Friday they would give you candy prize. So none of the other kids were getting no straight A's. This is interesting, y'all. It had a white top too. Y'all hear that? The candy had a white top on it. Now, what kind of candy had a white top? That's a pill bottle.
Yeah, magic.
He showed that. That means that candy had a white top on it. Kerry,
like this? Did it sound?
He said it had a white top too. What candy had a white top on it?
Did it sound like this?
That's it, kid. That's it, kid. That's my candy. That's my candy right now. He said he'd go to the candy land, they will always be out. That kind of sense. So every time I go to candy land, she wouldn't know. I need my candy. Candy. Glendale was on the banana board. Are you serious? Oh wow. Yeah, I got personal now. I forgot you about 10 years older than me. Yeah, but we had no camera.
Oh, the bus had a white top.
What kind of bus? A top on the bus?
It could be why he was in that classroom, because he was seeing stuff.
Yeah, a bus with this bus around with a hat on top. What kind of bus had a hat on top of it?
White top. Not a hat.
That's a pill bottle. That man was riding down the street in a pill bottle. Come on, the pill bottle orange too.
Oh, Carrie.
No, they were trying to get him. They were trying to psych him. Like first, go inside the can. That's what they call the bus. Go inside the can. Then next time the can ain't gonna be inside you. So you know what I'm saying? He get inside the bottle in the white bottle, orange pill bottle. Then he get out. Then they get in the white pill bottle. Said, now you're gonna put the bus inside of you. It probably made out something like that. I don't think he said, well, the bus. Carrie, there's a lot going on. Wayne, you want to comment on any of this stuff that you can tell him with? Because you in your ISO XO, you explain to him before we go. What do you see that Carrie need to do?
You know what, Carrie? I see brightness in your future. Your future so bright, you gotta wear shade. All you gotta do, get your turtleneck and join the club.
That's it. And get back on that bus. Listen, that man said, but listen, I'm going to bring that test. That's it. That's what we need, that test. That man gone. But listen, y'all know it's getting late. We got to get out of here. This week, we have been running. Last week, we were off all 7 days. As soon as we got through, we have been running. I've been trying to take care of stuff. And my allergies are killing me from in that grass today, that high grass walking and putting something. Ooh, that thing kicked my behind. I appreciate all of them been helping to try to push, because we were pushing to try to put Tula in office to make a change and a difference. Appreciate everybody. Tula out there, she done got injured, but we still been going. Burn herself on the arm, 1 foot missed. Look at her face. Look at her face. She wound up putting some sunscreen on her face, and it had that SBY stuff in it. She allergic to it, so she'll be back. She favored Vanessa Williams now, don't it? Which her face was burned up when she was on. It messed up your arm too.
No. I just said my tan.
Oh, your tan.
She could have just gotten a tan. She should have just been. She would have been fine.
Well,
with
she
that.
put that stuff not for us, and she put it on. That white pigmentation skin can't take a lot of sun. Put that. She told her to get that Sambrago head out. Like the Mexican do, that keep the skin out your face and keep it off. You know, and the people laugh at it, don't hat, but they got a different. They the Chinese, they wear their hat now. They give them old hat right here, old little bib on the back of your head get burnt. You look at Ori, they wear their hat down so it keeps the sun off of their face and shadow it down where it needs to go. And plus, they don't be butt naked and over there in Asia like that. They'll still wear something keep from burning their skin, just like the Middle East. But over here, they teach you get butt naked and your body can't take it down, like exposure to sunlight like that, because of all the different mixtures of, you know, what we've done. Depending on your climate area where you come from, it's a difference. But anyway, having said all that, we appreciate our guest that was on here earlier tonight, talking to us about sex trafficking, which is a serious problem. For those of you watching in, please take it serious. See what you can do to help. We did raise some money that you guys gave us. Y'all have been giving like you used to now. But y'all want to see a turd, y'all were giving. Dr. Joe, we need that turd back. So we still waiting on that too, but we're definitely going to donate money to that organization. We'll talk as a group and see how often we want to do that and get you guys to help out. I'd like for us to be contributors. I like what's her name? Annabella. Annabella.
Bell.
It was Annabelle or Annabella?
Bell.
She invited. Is it Annabelle or Annabella? She got to look it up. She don't know herself.
No, I believe it was Annabella.
That was Annabella. Yeah, it was Annabella. It was not no Annabelle. It was Annabella.
Bella was not A.
She did at the end had Annabella. Looking it up right now.
Yeah,
when it's Annabella. I remember saying that. It's Annabella.
It was Belle at the end, so it's Annabelle.
The E is for the A sound. They trying to say the E, it trying to say the E, but it's the A. She don't know her own name. It's Annabella. She ain't want to acknowledge her Hispanic roots.
Oh well.
Annabelle, but it's an E at the end too.
I did too, Britt.
Britt, you still my favorite child, Britt. You my only child. However, we appreciate Annabelle and we appreciate Lear for them coming on and talking with us, taking time out. We try to get some and Dr. Resident Joe, definitely appreciate her because she went through a lot. Find the organization. She really did. Whether y'all know or not, she went through a lot to find them. We requested, we talked to you guys about donating some money. You know, and I know we ain't on the show, but we're not hypocrites. When we tell y'all we're gonna do something, that's what we're gonna do. We've been waiting. We told you that we will find an organization that, you know, she had to research them, find them out, you know, and make sure they were legitimate. Then we wanted to bring them on here, let you guys hear them, see them, ask questions, because we want to know if we don't. A lot of these groups, I don't think everybody has a bad intent. I think sometimes people put money before profits, before people's safety and welfare. And it's because, you know, in the world, it's a rat race. Everybody just trying to make it. But our kids, their safety is very important. I like to refer to them as our kids because then you have a connection. Like I was telling them, I know with these organizations as well, they're limited on a lot of ends because I'm sure there are ends where they say, well, we can't go here, we can't do this, well, legally we can't do this. And that's because these sex traffickers aren't just your everyday Joe Blow. A lot of these people are politicians, so they enact laws, bills that limit and tie your hands. I didn't want to ask them, I don't want to put them in a bad situation. I'm not a fool. There's no way, like they told you, most of their money does not come from the government. They'll create some grants because the government has to look like they're helping. They're individual help. They need, man, you have agencies out here. They should have full access to FBI, U.S. Marshal. All these agencies can go anywhere. Everybody else is limited.
There's very few people helping sex trafficking. They're only directly here. It's weird, but you know, it's there's not many. So hopefully, you're willing. Eventually, we can personally start helping this population.
That's a situation I heard from an officer I know. They did a bust on a situation here in Georgia, and Homeland Security involved agencies. They locked up some sex traffickers, had some drugs, and they had to let them go that night. They let them go.
Why?
I mean, the officers that arrested them left, and they left stuff out. It was just poorly done to where they just had to let them go. Let them go and had the victims and everything. So there are a lot of things that these people set to do. And a lot of police officers, there's a lot of the organization. These people are smart. They're not fools. They're not the people just on the outside. They learn to get on the inside. Like I read the story about the officer tonight. I posted it in Twitter. I put on. The guy confessed to having sex with a 15-year-old kid in 2017. He was just hired back.
Wow.
As a police officer to the same agency.
Wow.
So these people know how to they know how to maneuver and get around.
That's crazy.
And it just shows you how serious it is. And we have to take it serious. And we have to work on how do we enact the people. The people need to have a voice, and our voice need to be heard, and things need to happen when we sound our voice. We don't need to just talk to hear ourselves. Just like before we go with the young people in Palestine, the people that say, oh, these people, they're sympathizing with the Palestinians, they're sympathizing with the terror. This is the problem I want y'all to understand before we go. I just like to say that these people that are sounding their voices are, let me see what you call these people. American citizens. American citizens exist are more than just black and white people. These are black and white people. These are Middle Eastern people. These are other people from other parts of Asia. These are people from South America. These are people from Europe that are all saying we don't agree with what's going on. They have a right to voice their opinion. They are the same people that pay tuitions and how the universities are existing through the funding of these people paying these tuition, taking any loan debts and bank loans that later on cost them imprisonment, cost them losses of things because these things in the interest rate, they balloon on them. They spiraled out of control, and these people wound up owning hundreds of thousands of dollars when it was minimum in at most 15, 20,000. So now these kids are looking at, we're protesting as we've been told as Americans we had a right to do. You're saying, Lee, this is what people don't understand. The purpose of protest is to be resistant. Your defiance and resistance is to show your displeasure, dislike for what's happening. If I'm here and I leave when you tell me to go, if I shut up when you tell me to be quiet, then you're not understanding that I'm disagreeing with you. This is in defiance of what you're doing. These people were not violent. They can say, oh, but they're on the college campus that they pay for. Oh, it's the terror. They hadn't blown up anything. Why aren't the people that's giving us the interest rate that people can't afford homes terrorists? Why aren't these people that passing laws that for homosexual right terrorists? Because we call them Americans too. So as Americans, we have to look at the majority. These politicians work for the people. The people are saying enough is enough. These people have suffered. It ends now. We no longer fund Israel. We no longer fund their war campaign. It has to stop. These are human beings here. And we all need to have that for everybody, not just with the Palestinians. We need it with the so-called Negro. We need it with the Haitians. We need it with the Ukraine and Russia. We need it in every one of these countries. We need it in Somalia. We need it everywhere. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. The people are the victims. None of these leaders are getting blown up. No one blowing up the White House. No one's shooting up the White House. Nobody's shooting up the parliament in the UK. They're shooting regular citizens. They're blowing up regular citizens' homes. They're killing regular citizen kids. Joe Biden kids not being killed. Sunak, whatever his name is, his kids not being killed. Putin kids not being murdered. Ping kids not being murdered. It's always the citizens of these countries. We have to come together and make an agreement saying enough is enough. Sex trafficking. If a country allows people to bring kids and women in and sex trafficking, we shut them down. That shouldn't be a country. Any country that goes along with it, we don't trade with you. We cut you off. You no longer exist. But we'll sit here and we'll get the money, the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, to come in and stop giving loans to countries that won't accept homosexuality, but we won't cut you off if you do sex trafficking of kids. Mm-hmm. That shows how sick the world is. And we, the people, make them sick because we won't stand up. We stand up for dumb causes. We got homeless people on the street, on city streets, while we're shipping hundreds of billions of dollars out to fund wars that have nothing to do with us, but why American citizens live on the street. American citizens. So I just want to say that.
Yeah, you said it, Pumpkin.
There we go. So I don't disagree with the college kids there. I say all those kids don't go back next semester. Don't pay your student loan. Shut it down. The government can't lock up everybody. Shut it down. Let's show them this is how we're being defied. I support you. This is unfortunate. The police, you just following because you following orders and they're making you look bad. I know you're just doing your job. You're not the enemy, but they're putting you in the way to make you the enemy. That shows you how America divides us. Joe Biden can shut that whole thing down by telling Israel, we're not sending one dime. The American people have spoken. Stop saying terrorists. These people, American citizens. Mm-hmm. The American people have spoken. Enough is enough. The American people have spoken. The interest rate dropped. The American people have spoken. No more homosexual educating our kids and pushing no agenda for no sex change. The American people have spoken. And Trump says he supports the police going in and taking them out. Why he supporting the police on January 6th when they came in to take the rioters out? Who didn't even have a cause. They didn't even have a fight. What's your plight? Trump lost the election. What's your fight? You can't say the majority support him because he lost. Quit saying stupid stuff. There was not a majority. A minority came in to try to fight a majority. We are the champions. I'm talking about the American people who stand together for what's right. We are the champions. Yes, we are. What's the other word?
I have no idea, sir.
I don't know. Somebody, listen, y'all want me to sing something?
No.
Huh?
Hmm?
So let the sun shine in, let it in your heart. Open up your heart and let the sun shine in. So let the sun shine in. Feel it within a dream. Open up your heart and let the sun shine in. Let the sun shine in. Y'all tell me where did that show did that come from? Not you, Tula. Who knows where that show? I don't see who came from.
Carrie,
you know, Carrie answered, Yellow Brothers with the tinted one with the white bottle top on it. Where did the show that come from? Who knows the answer before we go?
Win a prize.
Right answer win.
Carrie said, my homeboy used to join me. I used to chain them niggas exhausted.
What he do? My homeboy used to join me. He the chase. He wondered why he was on that bus. Who exhausted? Who would you chasing to exhaustion? Why you think you was on that bus, Karen? Who does that?
He used to chase them niggas to exhaustion. Why?
Who is the niggas you chasing? Why was he stuck in that room? Karen, why you think you was in that room, Karen?
Oh my God.
Because he was in that room and they probably knew that bus and they waited on him to get off that bus and that's when he chased them.
You know they probably doing, they were getting him oxygen in that room. They like we don't want him to pass out, so we gotta give him some oxygen, get himself together. He can chase them niggas to exhaustion. Karen, we'll help you, Karen. Make sure you don't go nowhere. You stay right here around the well, y'all synagogue. We keep our eyes on you, cause we don't need you back on that bus. We don't need you eating no more of that candy. We need to keep you right around.
Maybe we should give him some candy.
Resident Joe, can you give him some candy?
I could.
Sit down and we get you. She just need to sit down and have a little talk with you. This weekend, Karen, I want you to let Resident Joe talk with you. And she got some paperwork she's gonna be filling out, but don't you worry about it. She's gonna be asking you some questions. She's gonna show you some pictures. Just tell her the first thing come to your mind when you see the picture. Don't think about it. Soon as you see the picture, just say what it is. She show you the picture and she's gonna jot down some stuff. And according to how that going, I know you're gonna do well. You should be able to get some.
And we can get him candy on Fridays.
See that on Friday, every Friday you can have you some candy, Carrie. He said. Oh, look at that.
He needs to stop.
I used to chase Quincy, Dion, Rock, Victor, and
Karen. We don't know that.
Who are these people, Richard?
They settled, and then it settled. Karen, no, you sure you weren't tired? Surely they weren't just running. Sure they were breaking all care. You one person. They think they let you chase all them to exhaustion. I know they were saying, where is this nigga bus at? Cause Karen, that's like they're like a no, I don't know about who runs to exhaustion except like you run from a dog or police. Exhaustion?
No, just a figure of speech.
Nah, they don't figure of speech. What they tell you, Dr. Joe, what part of your brain make you just run to exhaustion? Chasing somebody.
There's no part of the brain.
Yeah, because they be like, if I ain't catching you, I'm giving up for exhaustion. I'm running, ain't getting no closer. I'm getting further behind. I'm keeping the same pace and ain't catching up. So it's like stop, but I'm running to you. Who get tired?
If he knows the word exhaustion, that means he was feeling exhausted as well. But
see, it'd be a part of that brain be like, no, ain't nothing wrong with you. It's them. Keep going, keep fighting. When he hear Cookies on, he probably, Yah is great. So what that means that keep going, keep fighting. He been here pew doing like that. I know he's still looking at. I gotta get Dion and Greg. I gotta get Rock. Keep going, keep fighting. Too exhausted. So everybody hears something different. You know what I'm saying? He said they were sandbox homies.
Oh my gosh!
I can't take it.
Richard, I think he needs a candy.
I never heard it. Sandbox homie.
I can't take it.
What is going on tonight?
I don't know. We gotta get out of here. Carrie, we don't hard you. You have made our night. We appreciate again. We appreciate all you guys. We know it's late. Sorry we came on late. Everybody been running. We're trying to get this election done. Trying to get hopefully May 29th will be. Isn't that the last day? The big day for voting. So right now they got early voting, so tied up this week, next week. But Yahuwah willing, she win it May 29th, and we could be good in November. If not, there's a runoff. We at least pushing for runoff. If not, win May 29th. Then June, we're looking at ace this thing. So we push and appreciate all of those that help out. Now he's saying, it's a more. Look at who pushing. Rock, Greg, Victor, Quincy, Tyrone, Iggy. His name is Iggy. And Dedrick. What about the boy named Iggy? That man named him Iggy.
I don't think that was his name.
I mean, that was
Iggy.
We are going to get up early.
He said, love y'all. He said, love all y'all. Oh, Bobby. Hey, Bobby, we love you too, man. Good to see you, Bobby. You see, listen, Roy Kadak got a lot going on. He's chasing folks to exhaustion. Yeah. The man chasing 9 people and he ain't passing out. He pushing them, they go. So next week, we're going to take a test. We'll let y'all know. And what we do, can you post the results when he come this weekend? Can you, do you have like those cards where you like, look at it, tell me what you see? Do you have those? Can you get them? Do me a favor. Can you please get them? Then I want to just see. Let's just see what he see. You ain't supposed to think, look at it, right, and say the first thing come to your mind.
His name was Cedric Remsen.
All right, is everybody in agreement? We're going to get that. And can you do that and then tell her how he did on that?
Okay.
You can say whether he did average or he did poor or he ranked. You let us know whether or not he won the candy. He gets candy every Friday. That'll just can you do that?
Yeah, I can do that.
So if everybody in agreement carried this, she going to show you some pictures. First thing come to your mind, his name was Cedric Ransom. Ransom. Okay, is that an M? That R-A-N-S-O-M. Oh, Ransom. That's it. Boy, I got my glad look at it. Woo! But it's bad when we get off. All right, listen, we'll hug y'all. So we get ready to go. Y'all be encouraged. Look to see y'all back. Some of y'all will see me tomorrow night and Shabbat day. So we're going to be looking to see y'all too. Appreciate all y'all. The rest of y'all will see you back here next Thursday. Yahuwah willing and the creek don't rise. All right, too. Take us home. We'll hug y'all. We're
about to take it back.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is. The most listened to radio show on the planet.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Tony and Lee on the radio. Dr. Joe's therapy on the radio. The love got me going live on the radio. 2 mics and a mind on the radio. Radio, turned up 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 on the radio. 2 nights and a mind. 2 nights and a mind. 2 nights. Watch this. And a mind.
All right, you do something better, I'll do something better, and we'll be better together. Until next week, y'all willing.
We'll hug y'all. Come back next week. We'll hug.